As we grow older, value isn't measured by money, status, or looks. It's measured by the habits you carry, the presence you bring, and the way people feel when they're around you. The truth is, certain small habits compound over time, and they're what makes someone timelessly valuable, someone others respect, admire, and never want to lose. Consistency in personal growth is one of those things that separates people who slowly fade into the background as they get older from those who continue to shine brighter with time. When someone makes growth a habit, it becomes the very thing that keeps them alive, curious, and magnetic to others no matter their age. Think about it. Most people hit a certain stage in life where they stop pushing themselves, stop learning new things, and stop expanding their perspective. They begin repeating the same stories, the same routines, the same thoughts, and eventually people start to see them as predictable and uninteresting. But the person who refuses to let growth slip away from their daily life stays relevant and valuable because they always have something new to bring to the table. It might be as simple as reading a new book every month, asking thoughtful questions, or even just being open to hearing ideas that challenge what they already believe. Growth doesn't always look like a dramatic reinvention. It often looks like a quiet commitment to keep adding new layers of depth to who you are. When you get older, people don't come to you because of how much money you make or how perfect you look. They come to you because of the wisdom you've collected. But wisdom doesn't come from just living a long time. It comes from paying attention, reflecting, and using what you learn to become better. That's why consistency in personal growth is such a valuable habit. It signals to others that you aren't just surviving, you're still living. You're still curious, still improving, and still someone they can look to for fresh insight. Nobody wants advice from someone who gave up on learning 20 years ago. They want advice from someone who has walked through seasons, taken notes, and kept evolving. That kind of person always remains valuable because they're like a library that never stops collecting books. You always know there's more to discover when you sit with them. Consistency also creates trust. When people see that you're someone who never stopped working on yourself, they know you'll be someone who will never stop working on your relationships, your commitments, and your purpose. Growth-oriented people don't fall into the trap of blaming others for everything because they understand the responsibility they carry to keep improving themselves. And that attitude is contagious. It makes people want to rise to your level, to sharpen themselves the way you sharpen yourself. It's almost like you become a walking reminder that no matter how old someone is, they still have more to learn and more to give. Small habits like journaling, reading, practicing patience, reflecting on mistakes instead of denying them, or learning a new skill every so often, these are what stack up to make you valuable in older age. People notice when you still take interest in life. They notice when you still have the humility to admit you don't know everything. They notice when you ask questions instead of pretending you already have the answers. That humility mixed with consistency builds a kind of respect that can't be bought. Everyone wants to be around the person who is growing because growth means movement, and movement is inspiring. Nobody wants to be around someone who has been standing still for decades because stagnation drains energy instead of creating it. Consistency in personal growth is not about becoming perfect. It's about refusing to settle for the version of yourself you were last year. It's about refusing to let age become an excuse to stop trying. It's about proving through your daily habits that your best days aren't behind you because you're still building towards something. The people who embody that energy don't just age, they evolve. And in that evolution, they become the ones everyone looks up to because they show with their life that growth is not something you outgrow. It's something you carry with you forever. Treating others with respect and kindness is one of the most timeless habits that will always keep a person valuable, no matter how old they get. As people age, the things that once drew attention, like appearance, energy, or status, start to shift. But what never loses its impact is the way you make others feel. Respect and kindness are not about being overly polite or pretending to be nice. They are about genuinely seeing people, acknowledging their worth, and choosing to interact with them in a way that leaves them feeling better, not smaller. When you're older, this habit becomes even more important because it reflects a lifetime of choices. If you've spent years dismissing people, cutting them down, or making them feel insignificant, it will eventually isolate you. But if you've built the consistent habit of respecting people and being kind even when you didn't have to, you become the person everyone wants to be around because they know they'll always feel valued in your presence. What makes this habit powerful is that respect and kindness are universal currencies. They don't require wealth, education, or status. Anybody can choose to practice them, and everybody benefits from them. People remember how you treated them long after they forget what you said or did. In older age, those memories multiply. If you built a legacy of making people feel small, it comes back in the form of loneliness. But if you built a legacy of kindness, it comes back in the form of admiration, love, and loyalty. That's why the habit of respecting others is such a key to lifelong value. It ensures that you don't just age in years, you age in influence and in the impact you leave behind. Respect also has layers. It's not only about how you treat people in positions above you, but also how you treat those you think can do nothing for you. A person who has made kindness and respect a daily habit doesn't discriminate based on someone's status, wealth, or background. They give the same respect to the waiter, the janitor, the stranger, or the child as they do to a CEO. That kind of consistency builds a reputation that's hard to ignore. People feel safe and comfortable around someone who they know won't belittle them or talk down to them. This safety becomes priceless in older age because people naturally gravitate toward those who treat them with dignity. Another element of this habit is patience. Respect and kindness often show up not in grand gestures, but in the small moments where you choose to be patient instead of irritated, to listen instead of dismiss, to forgive instead of holding a grudge. These are the choices that build trust and long-term relationships. As you get older, those relationships become the real measure of your value. People want to stay close to you, they want your presence in their lives, not because of what you can give them materially, but because of how you make them feel emotionally. Kindness doesn't mean weakness. It doesn't mean you let people walk all over you or that you agree with everything they say. True kindness is strength under control, the ability to stand firm in your values while still showing humanity to others. People admire that balance, and it makes you someone they respect even more. Respect isn't about agreement either. It's about recognizing someone's right to their perspective, their dignity, and their humanity. When you practice that consistently, you become a model of maturity and wisdom that others can't help but look up to. As people age, respect and kindness are often the qualities that define how others speak about them. These traits build a reputation that can outlast achievements, careers, or even physical appearance. They create stories that people share long after you've left the room, stories that highlight your impact on their lives. In every season of life, people crave to be seen, to be valued, and to be treated with dignity. And if you can provide that through your habits, you will always remain valuable no matter how many years pass. Maintaining emotional control is one of those habits that people admire most as you grow older because it reflects not just who you are, but the depth of wisdom you've gained through life experiences. Emotional control is not about suppressing feelings or pretending to be unaffected. It's about mastering the ability to respond instead of react, to stay steady when life tries to shake you, and to hold your ground when others lose theirs. As you age, people watch closely how you handle challenges, setbacks, and even conflicts because they're looking for an example of stability. The truth is, anyone can lose their temper, anyone can let anger, bitterness, or frustration take over, but very few can remain calm, thoughtful, and collected under pressure. That rare quality is exactly what makes emotional control such a valuable habit, one that ensures respect and admiration in any stage of life. When you get older, people don't just look at your accomplishments. They look at your character. They look at how you treat others when things don't go your way, how you handle disappointment, and whether you let negativity dictate your behavior. Emotional control shows maturity because it proves you've learned not to let temporary feelings destroy permanent relationships. Many people lose influence as they age because they never learned to master their emotions, so they become bitter, defensive, or quick to snap. But those who practice the habit of staying calm and composed become the ones others trust and turn to, because people crave that sense of steadiness in a world full of chaos. Emotional control doesn't mean you don't feel things deeply. In fact, some of the most emotionally controlled people are also the most empathetic, because they've learned how to understand and process their emotions without letting those emotions control their actions. They know when to pause before responding, when to step back before speaking, and when to breathe before making a decision. That pause creates space for wisdom, and wisdom always increases your value. People respect someone who doesn't explode in anger, doesn't let fear paralyze them, and doesn't let pride push them into saying things they'll regret. They respect the discipline it takes to master yourself, because self-mastery is the highest form of leadership. This habit also makes relationships healthier. When you're able to control your emotions, you create an environment where others feel safe. They don't have to walk on eggshells around you. They don't fear your unpredictable reactions, and they don't avoid sharing their thoughts with you. Instead, they know that even if you disagree, you'll handle it with calmness and reason. That kind of presence becomes even more valuable with age because people want to spend time around someone who brings peace rather than chaos. Emotional control is like a calming force in any room, and that is something people gravitate toward, especially when they're dealing with their own stress. Maintaining emotional control is also about resilience. Life will test you over and over, and if you let every hardship, insult, or inconvenience throw you off balance, you'll exhaust yourself and those around you. But when you develop the habit of holding steady, you not only protect your own peace, you also inspire others to find theirs. People respect someone who has been through storms and still chooses calm, who has faced unfairness and still chooses grace, who has experienced loss and still chooses to stand tall. That strength is rare, and rare things are always valuable. Another important part of emotional control is learning not to take everything personally. The older you get, the more you realize that most of the negativity people project has nothing to do with you and everything to do with what they're going through. Instead of reacting defensively, emotionally controlled people respond with understanding. They don't allow someone else's chaos to create chaos in them. They set boundaries without hostility and handle disagreements without unnecessary drama. That kind of composure makes people admire and respect you because it shows a level of emotional intelligence that many never reach. The habit of maintaining emotional control doesn't just protect your relationships, it protects your health. Stress, anger, and constant emotional reactivity drain your body and mind, but calmness and balance extend your energy. It allows you to think clearer, speak wiser, and live with less regret. Over time, that becomes one of the most valuable traits a person can have because everyone around you benefits from your ability to remain steady no matter what life brings. Living with gratitude and humility is one of those habits that makes a person unforgettable in older age because it transforms the way people experience you. Gratitude is the ability to look at your life and recognize the blessings, both big and small, without getting distracted by what you lack. Humility is the ability to carry those blessings without arrogance, without needing to prove yourself better than others. Together, they create a presence that draws people in because everyone feels uplifted, respected, and appreciated when they are around someone who practices these habits. As you get older, these qualities become even more valuable because they show that you've chosen to let life soften you instead of harden you, and that choice makes all the difference in the legacy you leave behind. Gratitude is powerful because it shifts your focus. Many people, as they age, become bitter about what they've lost opportunities, lost time, lost youth, lost relationships. That bitterness grows when they focus only on what went wrong or what they wish they had. But a grateful person makes the conscious choice to notice what is still good, what is still present, what still makes life worth living. That outlook not only keeps you positive, it also makes you valuable to others because gratitude is contagious. When you express thankfulness for even the simplest things, it inspires people to look at their own lives differently. People feel lighter around someone who constantly notices the good instead of pointing out the bad. Humility, on the other hand, is what makes gratitude believable. It's easy to say thank you, but still carry pride or entitlement in your heart. True humility shows up in how you treat others, how you carry your successes, and how you view yourself in relation to the world. Humble people don't need to remind others of their achievements because their character speaks louder than their words. They don't belittle others to make themselves feel bigger. They understand that everyone has value, and they live in a way that honors that truth. That's why humility keeps you valuable in older age. People respect you when you've accomplished things, but still carry yourself with gentleness, when you've gained wisdom, but still remain teachable, when you've experienced much, but still remain approachable. Living with gratitude and humility also builds stronger relationships. People naturally distance themselves from those who are entitled, boastful, or constantly complaining, but they are drawn to those who make them feel seen and appreciated. A simple thank you, a genuine smile, or acknowledging someone else's effort can make all the difference in how people view you. In older age, that habit creates a circle of loyalty and love around you because people want to keep showing up for someone who makes them feel valued. Gratitude makes you pleasant to be around, and humility makes you easy to connect with. Another important element is that gratitude and humility create resilience. When challenges come, a grateful heart can still find something worth holding on to. When pride could push you to fight every battle, humility teaches you to step back and let go of what doesn't matter. These qualities make you emotionally stronger because they keep you focused on what's truly important. People admire someone who can walk through loss and still give thanks for what remains, someone who can achieve success and still acknowledge the people who helped them get there. That balance makes you valuable because it's rare, and people always gravitate to what is rare. Living with these habits also sets an example for younger generations. They watch how you handle victories and setbacks, how you speak about others, and how you carry yourself in everyday life. If they see gratitude and humility in action, they see a model of wisdom that they'll want to follow. They'll remember how you didn't let success make you arrogant, and how you didn't let hardship make you bitter. Instead, they'll remember how you chose to be thankful and humble, and that memory will outlast any material achievement. At the heart of it, gratitude and humility create a legacy of presence. They allow people to feel respected, loved, and uplifted when they are with you, and that is the kind of value that never fades with time. It doesn't matter how many years pass, people always hold on to the way you made them feel, and nothing makes people feel more at peace than being in the presence of someone who lives with a grateful heart and a humble spirit. Protecting health and energy is one of those habits that people don't fully appreciate until they start to age, but it is one of the most critical factors in staying valuable later in life. Without health, everything else becomes harder. Your ability to connect with people, to contribute, to enjoy experiences, even to share your wisdom. Protecting your health doesn't mean chasing perfection or trying to look like you did 20 years ago. It means taking care of your body and mind so that you still have the strength, clarity, and presence to live well and give to others. Energy is what fuels every interaction and every opportunity. When you protect it through healthy choices, you ensure that you're not just present in older age, but fully alive. Health is not built in a single moment. It is built in the daily choices that compound over decades. The food you eat, the sleep you prioritize, the way you move your body, and the stress you manage, all of these create either deposits or withdrawals from your long-term energy bank. A person who builds the habit of protecting their health early on becomes the one who can still walk with vitality, speak with clarity, and show up consistently even as the years go by. People admire that because it proves that you respected yourself enough to take care of the only body and mind you'll ever have. That kind of self-respect earns the respect of others, and it makes you valuable because it allows you to keep showing up for them. Protecting energy also means guarding your mental and emotional space. Many people lose their vitality not just because of poor physical habits, but because they allow constant negativity, toxic environments, or unnecessary stress to drain them. Energy is finite, and when you waste it on battles that don't matter, on people who don't value you, or on habits that weaken you, you have less to give where it truly counts. Valuable people in older age are the ones who learned how to say no to what depletes them and yes to what strengthens them. They prioritize rest without guilt. They surround themselves with relationships that uplift them, and they manage their emotions so they're not constantly exhausted by drama or conflict. This habit of protecting health and energy also gives you independence. One of the greatest gifts in older age is being able to take care of yourself, to move freely, to think clearly, and to maintain a sense of dignity. People deeply respect those who invested in their health early on because it shows discipline, foresight, and wisdom. It also allows you to be a source of strength rather than a constant source of worry to those you love. Protecting your energy doesn't just benefit you, it benefits everyone connected to you because your ability to contribute, to guide, and to share is preserved. Protecting health and energy is also a sign of gratitude. It shows that you honor the life you've been given by taking care of it instead of wasting it. You don't treat your body like it's disposable, and you don't treat your time and energy like they're limitless. Instead, you approach them with care and intention. That awareness not only keeps you strong, it inspires others to take their own health seriously. Younger people especially look up to older individuals who embody vitality because it shows them what's possible if they take care of themselves. When people think about value in older age, they often imagine wisdom, kindness, or experience, but none of those can shine if you don't have the health or energy to express them. Protecting these two things ensures that your presence remains impactful, that your words carry weight, and that your life continues to be an example worth following. The habit of safeguarding your body, mind, and spirit through intentional choices becomes the foundation that supports every other habit, and it's the reason people continue to look at you as someone worth listening to, learning from, and being around.